last year too was approved.
So the fund was not released to you?
Yeah, but we've requested for it to be pay as an arrears because we've already committed the funds. We forwarded documentation to Ministry of Finance.
No, let me understand. The amount for CAPEX was approved in the budget last year.
Last year, and that of this year too.
And it also approved this year?
Yes, please.
And the last year one, you have committed the money?
Yeah.
By awarding contracts for renovation?
Yes, please.
Has the contractor done any work?
Well, he's been on the site. But because...
Has he done any work?
For now, no.
So what is he doing at the site?
Well, he came to site, but when he realized the funding wasn't approved, there was that fear that
he wasn't sure that the money will be released to him.
The release has not been.
So he packed and left.
Yes, please.
If he's sure that the money will come, then he will remobilize and come back to site.
We informed him that it should come and start for this year because we've initiated the process to assess the 151,000.
All right. So why have you reached in the process for the release of the fund?
Yeah, we did the requisition last week and we informed the chief director. He given the indication that today we will work on it.
Okay.
And we'll follow up to Ministry of Finance.
Okay.
For the fund to be released so that we can ask the contractor to be on site.
It's important. We hope the Ministry of Finance will release the money, so that you can renovate the accommodation for the staff.
Okay.
If the condition of the accommodation is so bad, which is not habitable, it's important that we work on it. You can't continue charging rents under that situation. So we urge the Ministry of Finance to do something about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Auditors, can you confirm that we recovered the rents?
Honorable Chair, the total amount has been recovered.
Thank you very much. That will be all for you. You are discharged.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Let's have Minister of West Housing and Clerk kindly administer the oath. Mention your name and then you say after. I,
Elizabeth Tibiyose,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Reverend Stephen Yause, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Western Housing.
Chuma Ampofo, Rent Control Department.
Dr. Emmanuel Yaboche, Registrar, Actor Registration Council.
Engineer Beneza Matete, Director Works, Western Housing.
Please, the Honorable Deputy Minister is on his way.
Okay. All right, so we'll start and wait for the minister to join us. Now, you've been cited for few infractions. As a headquarters, Red Control Department, and then Western Housing, and Architects Registration Council. The first one is on paragraph 569, which is on unapproved use of internally generated fund, 3.6 million Ghana cedis. That the auditors noted that without authorization by Parliament, the Ministry of Western Housing collected non-tax revenue totaling 4.2 million Ghana cedis and spent 3.6 million Ghana cedis out of the amount. The auditors have recommended that the Chief Director should ensure that the Ministry pay this money into the consolidated fund. They also recommended that until approval for the retention is obtained, all non-tax revenue should be paid in gross into the consolidated fund. So, Reverend Chief Director, I want to find out if you have any authorization to retain your IGF or a portion of it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think we've been before you for a number of years concerning this issue. And by your assistance, the ministry received 33% retention. Even though it's not enough to assist running the ministry, we are grateful to you and the Minister of Finance for this initial percentage of retention. We are pleading that you assist us to get 100% retention. Oliver Twist, we are asking for more. Because when we look at the expenditure that we do at the headquarters, and then what we receive as goods and services, it cannot be compared. So we are forced to. But now, we are obeying the law. We pay everything into an account, and immediately we pay, automatically we receive our portion of the 33%, which we are using to run the ministry. But as I said, Oliver Twist, we are asking for more in order to have the management to run effectively the ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So let me come back to the main question that was recommended by the auditors, that the Chief Director should ensure that the ministry pay the 3.6 million into the consolidated fund. Has that been done?
Honorable, it has not been done. And as we said the other time that we met, we said we borrowed from the IGF. So once we receive money from Minister of Finance, we will make good that money back to the consolidated fund.
You have been receiving money from the Ministry of Finance. Since then, have you paid part of that to the consolidated fund?
Honorable Chair, what we receive is not enough even to...
No, but you just said that when you receive money from the...
I said when we receive
immediately you get money.
adequately. The emphasis is on adequate funds.
So you are telling me indirectly that it is not something that can be done, because what you are receiving from the Ministry of Finance is not sufficient.
It's difficult. It's a challenge.
So is this something that can be done, or it cannot be done?
It's difficult. If you can pay your powers, if you can waive it for us, we shall be very, very happy. Because it's a challenge. What we normally receive as allotment from the Ministry of Finance is woefully inadequate.
So let's look at it from this angle. Colleagues, you want to ask a question? Okay, go ahead.
Chairman, I'm at a loss because I know every year you budget for it. Have you made it known to those who approve your budget that what they release to you for goods and services is not enough for you to run your ministry?
Honorable, yes, sir. We've done it several times. We've sent petitions to the Minister of Finance that what we receive as goods and services is woefully inadequate.
Yet every year they do the same for you.
Yeah, for the past
And they do
years.
it for any other ministry. And they are able to cope with
I think
whatever
I can
is
speak
released
for
to
my
them.
ministry.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that they do that for similar ministries and every ministry.
Yes.
So, and they are able to manage. But in your case, you are saying that because it's not enough, you go to take money that you are not supposed to, not approved by Parliament. You spend above what is supposed to be released to you. That is completely wrong. You have to manage it. You have to manage what is given to you. I believe that that's what you have to do. Because nobody has come here to say that I can't do anything about the problem with my IGF because what I receive from Minister of Finance is not enough. No. You have to. You have
Honorable,
no choice.
Honorable, if I may add, there were some ministries receive 100% retention of IGF. And in our case, we had zero retention. And if you don't receive goods and services, maybe if the worst would have been to close down the ministry, which would be very irresponsible on the part of management. Because we can't buy power, we can't run the ministry.
Chief Director, this is about law. You have no right to spend above the 1/3 amount of IGF. You are mandated, you are approved to spend. So whether you can do without it or not, you need approval. You need to make sure you fight for approval first before you spend money and say you cannot do anything about it. No.
Honorable, we had the approval
money is not
this
from
year.
your pocket.
We had it this year.
Chief
We
Director,
had
no,
zero.
I'm talking. Chief Director, wait for me to learn. I'm saying that it's by law. And you have no right to go beyond the 1/3. So if you're going to beyond the 1/3 and you are saying that because of the way you're probably, you don't get enough goods and services, it's not allowed because the money is not from you. You have to manage it or seek approval from the higher authority or Parliament. So you have to work on your approvals.
Thank you, sir. Well noted, sir.
Are we swearing the Deputy Minister? Honorable Minister, you are welcome.
Thank you. Quran, yes. A new allergy, so the Quran is important.
I
I, Abanka Abdullahi,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue
touching the matter in issue
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So, Honorable Minister, the issue is about your ministry spending IGF directly without paying it to the consolidated fund. But before I continue, let me ask this earlier another question. What constitutes your IGF as a ministry headquarters?
Chief Director will take that.
Okay.
Now.
Thank you, Honorable. This is certificates that we give to contractors. That's contractor certificates. That's the main one. And then we used to receive some money from UNDP flats. But for now, there's also a challenge there. I think that we'll come to that. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me ask my earlier question again. That do you think that the ministry will be able to pay this money back into the consolidated fund? 3.6 million, which was spent in 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Chairman, like the Chief Director tried to explain, we agree that we're flouting the law, but this was under a circumstance that without some funding, the ministry couldn't just run. And that is why we took up the initiative to seek approval from the Ministry of Finance. And we're happy that we're granted a 33% retention for going forward. As to whether we can refund the money or not, it will be difficult for us to find money elsewhere. This is money that have been spent. They have been spent on government activities, and the auditors, I'm sure when they look through the books, they will find that these are monies that we have applied on activities, legal expenses. So we will not be able to refund the money. If we are going to refund it, it will still come from the retention that we are going to get from the future inflows. So I would think that if there's a way we can write off this and look forward to what we'll be doing with the retention in future, I think that will be better.
Auditors, can you tell this committee if the expenditure they incur with this money were genuine? Were they genuine expenditure?
Honorable Chair, we can't confirm whether it was genuine, but what we know is that IGF are also budgeted with the normal budget. So anything contrary into which was not approved and used means that you have to pay back.
I know that aspect. But the aspect I asked, the question I asked, you've answered. But your infraction didn't talk about the expenses were not genuine. That is why I asked. Want to confirm or lawful. If the spending, the items on which they spend the money were lawful, then we know that we don't have any challenge there. The only challenge we have now is whether they have the ability to pay back. But if the expenditure was not lawful, then we can then decide on what to do. That is why I asked that question. As for the paying back, you are right that they have to pay back because it's revenue that they have not been given the authority to spend.
Honorable Chair, the expenditure was lawful.
All right, I think that the only way to go about it in order to save the ministry is to write for ratification. So that once you write for ratification, you are given the approval, then that satisfies it. So we'll go by that.
Thank you, Chairman. But if you could give us more directions as to how to go about that.
Yeah, you write to Minister of Finance. Well, if you want consultancy, I have a private firm.
That will be conflict of interest, or?
I say I have a private firm. I've been given license to operate as a consultant. So if you come to me, it will not have any effect on my work here.
Noted, Honorable Chai.
All right. Let's move to the next one, which is paragraph 572. That's ranking, so I'll take it. Toyota Land Cruiser not accounted for. So there's a Toyota Land Cruiser with a registration number GV114 with a chassis number in the report. Now, this was not presented for the audit inspection. Is the vehicle available? Chief Director.
Bravo, we can't trace it as of now. However, when the issue happened, we reported the issue to the police, the Ministry's police. And anytime we went there, they said it's still under investigation. Since that time. And we wrote to DVLA, to be aware that such vehicle was missing. So in case somebody came for re-registration, they should alert the ministry. And they alerted to that effect. We reported the issue to the police, and constantly we are going back to the ministry's police to ask for the status of that vehicle. Because we know the garage that took the vehicle. So it's up to the police to up their game. So, Honorable, if you could also assist us. We've been going there, going to the police to ask for the status of the missing vehicle and also the DVLA. But as of now, that they keep on telling us it's still under investigation.
Under what circumstances that you couldn't find the vehicle? Were the vehicle allocated to a driver or department or what? Can you tell the committee a little bit about?
Okay, what happened was that we were indebted to a company, and then our accounts were garnished, and they came forcibly to take our vehicles to a garage. Then we made attempt and we paid the money.
If you say they, who are they? The they?
I mean that company.
Okay. What's the name of the company?
No, it's not Sterling. I'll get the name for you.
Okay.
So when they took the vehicles, it's not only the Land Cruiser. There were other vehicles that they took along, pickups and others. But when we went, like they were bringing back the vehicles, they came without the Land Cruiser. So we reported the issue to the Ministry's police to investigate, and they started investigation since.
So the company that came for the vehicles, it is not only this vehicle that they came for.
No, sir. No,
they
sir.
came for other vehicles also. Was it a court case? The court granted a garnish order?
Yes, sir.
And then they came for those vehicles. And then you eventually paid the money.
Yes, sir.
And they brought back the vehicle without this one. Wouldn't that be the duty or the responsibility of the company that came for the vehicle?
Yes. We're owing one Messias Yaubani Daku. Yes. And then he came, and the company was Daku Consult. And they came for that, those vehicles. So that's the name.
So if the company that came for the vehicles, he answered that it's a court case, isn't it?
Yes, a court case. And
when they came for the vehicles, is the court aware that the company came for the vehicles?
Yes, sir.
And when they brought back the vehicle without this one, is the court also notified?
That is why we informed the police.
No, I said, is the court notified?
I cannot, because I was not in charge, but I cannot be sure whether the court was.
First of all, the court should have been notified.
Yes.
Then the responsibility might be placed on that company to bring back the vehicle. It's simple. Okay? It's simple. Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you. Chief Director, how long has this been pending, this matter?
2015.
The vehicle was registered in 2014, and then a year later, it fell into this problem. Which auctioneer came to fetch the vehicles?
The auctioneer name is Eko
Ganishi order. One is that it went under Ganishi order.
Eko
Ewusi.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know him, sir.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's not a problem. Chairman.
Okay.
Chairman, I think that the ministry should further write to us with further and better particulars so that we can take a definitive position on the matter. In the meantime, we need to write to the auctioneer to surrender the vehicles. That's the letter, the nature of the letter. Because the vehicle was, it came under a court order. Because your accounts were garnished. So until you discharged your just indebtedness under the garnishee order, they sought to levy the execution against your movable properties first. I don't know how much it was, but we want to go further into this matter, so we need further and better particulars, so we can even pursue from our side of the divide. You need to write for a surrender of the vehicle.
Thank you, sir.
As a matter of urgency.
Noted,
and notify the registrar of the court where the matter was taken.
Yes, Honorable.
And attach
Park.
evidence of the discharge of the Ganishi Nisi.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, this is a very intriguing revelation. I am of the opinion that the ministry did not really put in the needed effort, because this ought not to be happening. If for nothing at all, I believe that the ministry has access to legal counsel, who obviously should have advised the ministry on what to do. The circumstances under which the vehicles were taken from the premises of the ministry to the garage must have been supervised. The circumstances under which the Ganashi was dealt with to allow for the ministry to take back or to receive all the vehicles minus the Land Cruiser must have been supervised. So this excuse that the Land Cruiser cannot be found, and for that many years, this remains a matter, Mr. Chairman, raises a serious laxity in the way we treat public property. There is no way this would have happened if this was private property. And the auctioneer could not have functioned in isolation. That's it. So these are matters of law. These are matters of law.
I remember, that's okay. I think
very well. Chairman, as you have always said, this is also part of educating the public and the people to know that we cannot always be blamed by what is going on, which is not right, as far as running this country is concerned. If this was you or me, a politician, you can imagine the headlines. Very well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So, Chief Director, as said by Honorable Roxon, you have to write to the auctioneer, copy the court registrar, and then also provide evidence of the discharge of the Ganishi what? Lisi. And we are learning But the auctioneer was appointed by the court, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you notify the court, then it means that, honorable member, please, why? Now, so this should be done, and then also, if you write to the auctioneer, maybe he will respond. And those response also furnish the committee. Then we will take it up from there.
Thank you,
so,
sir.
Clerk, please take note of this particular case. Honorable Ajay.
Chairman, I have a question. I think that the auditors would have to help us out here, because the report doesn't talk about any auctioneer thing. So I'm wondering whether the ministry did not provide this information to the auditors, because we have just been told that this is the situation. Yeah.
No, so, according to the auditors, the vehicle was not presented for inspection.
Yes.
So that is all that they know.
Yes. So that's why what we want to find out from them, whether at the time of the audit, this explanation was not provided to them.
Was this explanation provided? And if it's provided, for me, I think that the way you capture it summarizes everything. But was it provided, this information?
Honorable Chair, going through the management letter, such information was not provided. But if anything, we have to maybe go back to the team. But we don't have that information. Thank you.
All right. I think that we have to get to the bottom of this matter. It's a simple thing. I don't think that the police should be involved in this. Well, you have reported to them. They will never finish their investigation. Let's move to paragraph 575. Vice Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I think for those who are listening to us to appreciate what we are talking about, let me read paragraph 576. That is the auditor's report. Our review of the rent payment indicated that the chief director failed to collect rent owed by 48 occupants of the United Nations Development Program flats, totaling $993,000 US. Now the ministry is crying for IGF, right? So $993,600 US. Further review and explanation from the estate officer revealed that some of the occupants were operatives of the national security who took over and occupied the flats since 2017 without paying the rent due, and efforts to collect such rent arrears has proven futile. My first question is, these national security operatives, are they proper national security personnel, or those Delta forces that camouflage themselves as national security operatives?
Honorable Chair, our understanding is that all those who are currently occupying the UNDP flats are squatters. And this issue has come up, I think, for the past two audits that we've come to appear before this committee. And I remember my honorable colleague, Yusuf, brought a question on the floor of Parliament to question us why we're not doing something about that facility. The ministry has begun to work on, reconstructing the place, because currently the place is dilapidated and nobody wants to rent it. So for now, we don't have any legal renter at that facility. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My Honorable Minister, this has gone on since 2017. 2017. And if these people are squatters, what is stopping you from using the real national security people from evicting these people?
Yes, Honorable Chair, like I said, the decision of the ministry is to reconstruct the place. So for now, we are going through some procurement processes, and until we are done with the procurement.
Honorable Minister.
Yes.
If the ministry has taken a decision to reconstruct the place, that's a good thing. He's asking about those people currently squatting. So, what is being done about that? After the decision to reconstruct is a good thing.
Yeah.
It has not been done yet. But what is happening now? What is the ministry doing about it?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we have served them letters. We are in the process of evicting them. And currently we have served them letters. And yes, I mean, we have to be also civil because...
Yes. Honorable Minister,
yes,
you don't know these people. What you are saying is they are squatters. So whom did you address the letters to? To squatter number 2 or squatter number 3?
We have done our own investigation and we have realized that some of them are police, like you said, some of them are national security operatives. So what we have done is that we wrote letters to each of the occupants of the flats, and the next move is to get them out of the place. And so we are working with other agencies to make sure that we evict them. So I can assure this committee that they will surely be taken out of the place anytime that we are ready to take place.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Minister, you are speaking under oath. Are you sure you have written letters to these people?
Yes.
And if you have, could you provide us with copies of those letters?
Yes, Honorable Chair, we can provide you with copies of
by the end of the day?
Yes, I'm sure from our files.
Do you have copies here?
We'll make copies available to this committee.
When?
Before the close of day.
Before the close of day?
Yes, Honorable Chair.
You see, Honorable Minister, this is a huge worry. Are you aware, Honorable Minister, that we used to have some Cuban doctors who came to Ghana to help us with our medical issues, living in those flats, and these people that you claim are illegal squatters, kick them out, and so they are not staying there anymore? Are you aware, Mr. Honorable Minister?
My information is that these occupants, the Cuban doctors and other diplomats, left the place because the facility became unusable. And so they had to leave. And that's why our national security operatives and other government employees occupied the place. We don't have information that they actually...
Honorable Minister,
Cuban doctors.
Honorable Minister, you are speaking under oath. When you started, you said these are squatters. Now you are telling me they are national security operatives and some police. Now, could you tell us, this committee, whether these people are illegal squatters or national security operatives?
They are illegal squatters because we haven't officially issued, we don't have any agreement between the Ministry of Works and Housing and any of the occupants currently at the facility.
But the report says these were operatives of national security who took over and occupied the flats. So which is which?
Yes, like I said, because we don't have any agreement with them, we can only describe them as squatters.
Honorable Minister, if these people are national security operatives, my first question was, are they proper national security personnel or some of the vigilante forces that we use who came in to occupy this prime property near Ghana International School, which is in cantonments, center of town, where there are other apartments around charging $4,000 or $5,000 a month?
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chairman.
Okay. Let me ask this one. I'll call other members to also ask questions. You said the occupants are national security operatives. Is that the case?
Mr. Chairman, not exactly. I mean, we have several different categories of workers who are occupying there. We personally did some investigation on our own. And it's not like somebody officially allocated it to national security.
I'm not talking about that. You mentioned national security operatives.
No, you can find even police there. You find,
Honorable Minister.
You find people who work with
Honorable Minister.
GBC,
Honorable
also,
Minister,
yes,
please. You are before a committee. I'm not comfortable about your action, the way you are behaving. You are a minister. Please, respond to questions that we ask you. I'm asking you, you said earlier on, I just want a confirmation, that the occupants are national security operatives. And I want a confirmation, is that the case, that they are national security operatives? I want an answer.
No, Honorable Chairman, they are not only national security operatives. We have
so some of them are national security operatives.
Yes, we have even workers of GBC.
I want to lay emphasis on the national security operatives. Since when did you know that they are national security operatives?
That was discovered sometime in the, is it 2021? And some letters, we wrote letters to the Ministry of National Security, and they came back to us to inform us that they do not know those workers. Yes, but like I said, we have police who are there. We have people who work with GBC who are occupying the facility. So there are all kinds of workers who are there.
So we have national security operatives. Part of them are there. Police, they're also part of the national security operatives. They are part. Then we have GBC. Some of them are workers of GBC. You know all this. We have written to the Minister of National Security, and they wrote back to you that they don't know them. Did you write to the IGP also? Did you write to GBC also? Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chair, we are still trying to look at our documents. I'm not too sure about a letter to IGP and GBC, but I am sure of a letter to the National Security Minister.
Honorable Minister, this is not the first time these issues come up at this committee meeting. It even came on the floor through a question by Honorable Yusuf. The Ministry of Works and Housing is actually not interested in who occupy those bungalows. You're not interested. Or maybe you are covering up something.
Yes. The vigilantes.
You are covering up something. Are you sure that those people who are occupying the place will definitely be evicted from those bungalows? Honorable Minister.
Yes, Honorable Chairman, I can assure you that the ministry is prepared to make sure that all those who are occupying there are evicted. Because we understand that when we rehabilitate the place, we can accrue a lot of revenue to this country and for the ministry to support it in its activities.
Honorable Yusuf.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, for me, the issue here has to do with the state losing $993,600 US. And all these years, we've been talking about this issue without resolving this matter. The outstanding amount is what we're talking about. Your answer doesn't provide any solution to or any promise that we're going to get this money. Are you saying that this money be written off, or what are you saying? Because you are here or you are captured in this report because this money is outstanding. And the conversation so far has nothing to do with whether or not the money will be paid or how we are getting the money. How are we getting this $993,600? That's my first question.
Mr. Chairman, like we said, currently it's difficult to hold any occupant of that facility for non-payment of rent because we do not have an agreement with them. So I don't know what direction this committee will give to us to handle this matter.
Minister, hold on.
Minister, I want to find out from you. We sit here and we insist that government officials who occupy bungalows should pay rent. And in instances where they don't pay, we call for sanctions. This amount that has been accrued is as a result of somebody's negligence. Do you agree with me?
Mr. Chairman, like we said earlier on, if you go to the property, and I've personally visited the place, you will find that the property is like an abandoned property. So these occupants actually had access because it was not used. And so it is difficult to say that somebody hasn't done his job. That's why we are not able to recruit this money.
Honorable Minister, this your last sentence is false. You cannot say that the place wasn't used. I told you that there were Cuban doctors living there. Isn't that curious that these people moved in 2017? Look, I go there almost every week. The buildings were occupied. 2017, then they moved all, these people came in and kicked out the other people living out there. And then moved in. Now, would you believe that there is a presidential hideout around there, Mr. Honorable Minister? Honorable Minister, are you aware there's a presidential hideout over there? No, I'm asking him because he should know. What if, hold on, there's a reason I'm asking. If it's a, please, members, allow me. That building is not occupied. So can some of these national security people go and live in that presidential hideout around that place? Because the building is not being used.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware that there's a presidential hideout at that facility.
Thank you. It's interesting that you are not aware, but these so-called national security people were aware of this flat. These flats are the prime area in Accra cantonment, and they've lived there for all these years without paying any rent. Go ahead, sir.
So, bro, can you put off your... Yes, I'm still on the issue of the money. Are you saying that this money shouldn't be paid?
Chairman, the issue is that now who are we going to hold responsible for this? Because if you don't have a contract with somebody, it's difficult to insist that the person should pay money. So I don't know what direction this committee will give to us.
So you are going back to my earlier question, that as a result of somebody's negligence, people got into that facility belonging to the state, belonging to government, okay, and ended up no paying this much. This money would have accrued to government. So it's as a result of somebody's negligence that we are losing this money. Do you agree with me?
Mr. Chairman, I don't agree with my honorable member because, like I said earlier on, this facility was abandoned, virtually abandoned. And so that is why the squatters had the opportunity to sneak in there.
Chairman.
So, and this facility, don't forget, was constructed in 1960. And before now, it has never seen any rehabilitation. And it was being used by experts. And so it got to a time that the whole place was just not fit for purpose. And that's why the scuba doctors...
I'm not cutting you, but I want you to be very brief with your responses for a reason, okay? I have so much interest in this case, and I've been there several times, and you remember I brought the minister to the floor. The answers he provided and some of the responses you are giving are not aligning, and you are under oath. That's why I'm saying that you should shorten your responses. For me, if we don't resolve this issue of the outstanding payment next year, you'll be here again, and this thing will continue. That is why I want us to first of all resolve this matter before we move on to the other issues. And that is where I want you to speak to. How do we treat this money going forward in our books?
Honorable Opoku.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, I want to find out from the auditors how they came by the figure, yes. Because according to the minister, there's no agreement. There's no agreement. So I'm wondering how they were able to compute and come by this figure.
Yeah, audit service.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, it was the information provided during the audit that we're able to come out with that figure. So we didn't manufacture that figure. We got it from the information given to us. Thank you.
Honorable Roxon.
Chairman, thank you. Like my brother, Honorable Minister, please. You are my brother. We were in school together. So this matter is very important. This is not the first time auditors flagged it. Indeed, 2 years ago, we were assured by, I think the deputy then, I had forgotten, but the same place, that because of the findings of the audit report and the position of the committee, they were going to evict every single occupant of the place and levy their principals for the outstanding rent. I can fish out that report. So when in July 2023, the matter had been flagged again by the auditors, I don't think the work of this committee is done that it comes to it bears no fruit. We don't work not to get results. We were assured by your ministry It may not be you. And I also don't know how long Chief Director has been at post. But the persons who represented the Ministry of Works and Housing assured the committee. They even mentioned renovation. And that going forward, they will take steps, evict the people. And because I said that the national security comes to Parliament for their own budget. So if you have operatives on national security occupying your property, levy them the rent and let them pay appropriately. So applies to the police service. They are the interior. So no personnel should owe you rent, for which rent you don't know where to levy it. All the occupants have agencies that they work with. So I am shocked that today you are not able to determine even the personnel, their principal agencies, and you are labeling them as squatters. They are not. I don't want us to come back next year on this matter. So the committee is interested. Can you go back, take a data of the occupants? We are not saying go and sack them. If you think that you can continue to take rent, that's all we are interested in. Take a data on them, determine their principal agencies, and let the agents pay their rent. And we are fine. So your responses, this matter has come on the floor, pursuant to Yusuf's question. So I want to give a guide that you have a way of dealing with the matter so the auditors don't come back tomorrow and say that you haven't done your duty. The rent outstanding is important to us. If it's national security, let them pay you. Chairman, that's my position on that.
Honorable Bauer.
Chairman, I'm concerned about the recommendation of the auditor. And I would like to find out from the Chief Director whether he read the report and what the auditors recommended. The recommendation was that he either pursues the recovery or he gets the tenants ejected without further delay. And so I would like to find out from the ministry. This is a recurrent issue. It occurred last 2 years. Last year it was here. The same thing. What are you going to do about it? Are you collecting the rent or you are ejecting them? Let the committee know what you are going to do, what action you are going to take. And if you are ejecting them, give us timelines when you are ejecting them so that we know.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, the directives from my minister is that we should evict them. And preparations are underway to sack all of them. Yes,
timelines.
Them. By close of the year. No, we are going through procurement processes to redevelop the place. Please, we don't want a situation where we evict them and another people will go there. That's why I'm giving you by close of year.
Do you provide security at your properties? Minister, Chief Director, do you provide security at your properties?
No, sir.
Why?
It's a budgetary issue, sir.
So, the bungalows, the 48 bungalows we are talking about, are they 48? Flats.
They are flats, sir.
They are flats. 48 occupants are the NDP, UNDP flats. You don't have any security there?
For now, no, sir.
So, is it negligence on your part for not providing proper care of government properties under your care as a ministry? So that anybody can occupy any of your properties?
It's not negligence, sir.
And you got to know that there are people who are occupying your properties illegally, and you don't want to eject them?
Mr. Chairman, we put in place activity to eject them, sir.
Were you here in March? Was it before March? When we took the 2020 report, where this issue was flagged, were you here as part of the team that represented the Ministry of Works and Housing?
And this
committee meeting?
No, sir.
This year,
March.
This year, when we took the 2020 report.
Yeah, I was here, sir. I was here.
Can you recollect the answers you provided to this committee and assurances you gave us about these particular flats?
We said we're going to rehabilitate and then sack them. And letters have been written to them. Honorable, plans are underway to rehabilitate and eject them from the place.
In the same answer you gave us, and assurances you gave us when you appeared before us this year, earlier.
That is why, Honorable, we are saying by the close of the year, we can come back.
I said it earlier on that either you are not interested in protecting government properties entrusted under your care as a ministry, or you are covering up something. I said it earlier on, and I'm repeating it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, let me ask him something. The Chief Director, in his earlier submission, when we were talking about IGF, said they used to make some money from the UNDP flats. And he's here asking us to help him increase the retention. Now, if you have almost $1 million sitting somewhere, and you are not interested in it, what do you want this committee to do to help you get more IGF? You have almost $1 million sitting there. You are not interested. So asking us to help you keep more of your IGF, I think it's a non-starter. Try and collect that almost $1 million. And if we have anything to do, then we may be able to help you. But you are not interested in the $1 million. That almost $1 million at today's exchange rate is close to about 10 million Ghana cedis. And it's sitting somewhere.
Honorable, Chair.
Yes.
All that I will ask is that this committee should help us to deal with that situation. Sometimes, that's all that I can say. So, Mr. Chair, kindly
you are not open up to her. How can we help you? You go to a doctor without telling the doctor where you have a problem.
Resolve this issue.
How can a doctor prescribe medicine for you? There are certain symptoms, they don't appear. They are within them. They know the problem, but they don't want to tell the committee. Yes. Honorable Apak and then Honorable Kofi, they will end it.
Chairman, it is good that the Chief Director is now beginning to say the truth. They need help to execute this matter. My only suggestion is that they should be able to provide us with the details that they have said they will provide. The letters that they said, the minister said they wrote to the occupants. Let's see the categories of the occupants so that we can truly ascertain whether these are all legitimate, as the Vice Chairman has been insisting. Let's ascertain whether they are legitimate national security operatives. And then we take it from there. But more specifically, this omnibus suggestion of we are going to renovate it, we are going to refabricate it with our timelines, do you even have the budget resources to do that by the end of this year? Let's be honest. Do you have the resources to do this work before the end of this year, which is predicated on evicting them?
Honorable Park. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Please, kindly assist us to resolve this issue.
Chairman, I will leave it here and we wait for your direction. It's a very complicated matter as far as the ministry is concerned for obvious political reasons.
Chairman, thank you very much. I think it's pretty a simple matter that we have made so complicated. And your answers even today, I'm having a difficulty reconciling whether truly you need help and what form of help you need. Because in one vein, you said you have written to them, which the committee is asking for evidence of writing to them to at least vacate the place. In the next moment, you are saying you are putting processes in place to get them out because you do not want others to move in after you have evicted them. Is it that you are having a difficulty getting them out, or you don't want to get them out when you have not put some measures in place that will not let others in? What exactly do you want us to help you do? To evict them or to protect the place when you have evicted them? What exactly? What help do you want from us?
Honorable Chair, before I proceed on that, to answer that question, letter that was written to all occupants about the impending rejection this year. We have copies. And that is 6th of September, 16th. 16th September 2022. Addressed to all occupants, UNDP flats, cantonment.
Do you have names of the occupants?
No. It was addressed.
All occupants?
Yes, attached.
And you delivered the letter where?
To each flat.
To each flat. You went and put the letter there?
Yeah.
Did you get a response?
No, sir.
You were trying to give us the date of the letter. Have you seen the date? You were trying to give us the date. I'm interested in the date.
That is 16 September 2022.
It's very interesting. Oh. You wrote letters, say all occupants. Then you went to the flat when they dropped the letters. Almost a year now. No responses. And you are happy that you have served them with letters. Very interesting.
So, Chief Director,
Mr. Chair, please, I'm still insisting that, Mr. Chair, kindly assist us to
Order.
Well, we want to assist you.
The assistance I want to give you is for you to go from tomorrow, go and evict the occupants. From tomorrow. You know what to do. Go to the police. Get the IGP. Let him give you the men and the women uniform. Go and evict the people. That's all.
Don't worry about some other group coming to occupy first. You get those in there out. When they are out, by all means, the police will find a way of helping you to secure the facility until you have redeveloped it or renovated it to a position that it can be reoccupied by your lawful tenants. So you can make some money out of it. So don't be worried about not wanting them out because other sets will come in. That should never be part of your reasons or your worry. Get the illegal ones out. And once they are out, you begin to work towards putting the facility into a very good state for use. Thank you.
Chief Director, I've seen the letter you serve on the occupants. And the flat number A1, the person claimed to be operative of national security. The flat number A3, Mr. Matthias Dugu, accountant, GIG. What did you do about that one? Now the name is there, the department he's working is there. What did you do about that one? It's a known person.
Adabo, we abide by your directive, sir.
What did you do about this, Mr. Dugu one?
We are going to evade them, sir.
Oh. So you take the next. Apartment number A7, George Cranton, Department of Urban Roads. What did you do about that one too? Chairman. Apartment number B8, Dr. Zaid, PLO, Health Mission. You haven't done anything about it. Apartment number C4, Angela Amaboy, Ministry of Trade. You haven't done anything about it. Number C7, Edward Kwachi Menu, Operations Officer, Jubilee House. What did you do about it? The rest all claim to be operatives of national security. The minister mentioned earlier on that they are police officer, but I didn't say anybody about police officer here. Or they are the operative of national security, and they are under that one.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We abide by your directive, sir.
Are there electricity supply and water supply to the flats?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
The bills for those utilities, are they served on the ministry?
No, sir.
Are the meters they are not in the name of the ministry?
Not sure, sir.
So the occupants got the meters by themselves?
They're enjoying free electricity.
Okay, let me add this way. Your properties are the UNDP flats. Do you have meters?
We abide by your directive, sir.
All right. We need to come to the end of this matter. It keeps appearing in the report every year. It doesn't speak good about the ministry. So, as I said earlier on, I think that the committee will be happy for you to go and seek the assistance of the Ghana Police Service to evict them. They are occupying your property illegally. Evict them, bring your reports to this committee. In fact, the auditors will go and verify that actually you have evicted them before we finalize our reports. And we want you to do that within 1 month. 1 month should be sufficient. Yes, you have already given them notice, so, and they didn't respond. And the time you gave them notice, you gave them 12 weeks, which is 3 months. That has elapsed long time. So going to evict them, you are not against any law. We have the rent control people here who they should be even be assisting you to do this job. All right, so let's move to the next one. Paragraph 578, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, the infraction has to do with the chief rent officer collecting non-tax revenue to a tune of 191,000, and instead of paying it into the consolidated fund, it was spent on operational activities. So the recommendation is that the money should be paid into the consolidated fund. So I would like to know if that has been done.
Honorable Chair, please, it has been resolved.
How was it resolved? Was it paid to the consolidated fund?
Yes, please.
Can the auditors confirm this?
Honorable Chair, we are sure of the opening of the designated holding account, but for the payment of the money, we don't have any evidence to that effect. Thank you.
Officer, and the auditors are also given a different account. Can you explain yourself, please?
Honorable, in fact, this report pop up 2020, the year 2020, and the management report that was issued to the department was different from the report here. So, in fact, there was nothing like what you, Mr. Chair, is reading to us. That is the only problem. That is it. That is it.
Chief Rent Officer.
Mr. Chair.
Have you collected non-tax revenue, totally 191,538?
Yes, please.
Did you pay that money to the consolidated fund, or you spent it?
Mr. Chair, we spent it.
So that is what the auditors are reporting on. Now, they are asking you to ensure that that money is paid into the consolidated fund. And then also, they are also recommending that until approval is given to retain part or all your IGF, non-tax revenue should not be spent directly, or should be paid into the consolidated fund. Now, do you now pay your non-tax revenue to the consolidated fund? You have a retention of 33%. Do you now pay the money to the consolidated fund?
Yes, please.
Okay. Auditors, can you confirm that now they pay their IGF to the consolidated fund?
Honorable Chair, now they are paying to the consolidated fund.
Now let's come to the main question. Have you paid back the 191,000 which you spent directly into the consolidated fund?
Honorable, no, please.
I think that this is a similar thing. Earlier, we met with the headquarters. The report didn't talk about if the expenditure is not genuine. So we would direct that you also do the same like the headquarters to ratify it. Okay. The next one is paragraph 583. Honorable Roxanne.
Chairman, thank you very much. Architects Registration Council. The case against you is that you spent some money in excess of 410,000 at part of your IGF without approval. The auditors are saying that you should seek approval from the minister. Other than that, you should desist from utilizing the funds. July 2023, has the approval been sought?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chairman. The challenge has been resolved.
Yes and no, then you explain. Yes, it's been
Yes.
approved. Okay, then you can explain.
Yeah, thank you. We have received an approval to retain 66.6% of our IGF, and we have been paying money into the holding account. We have received approval from the Ministry of Finance through the sector ministry, so the issue has been resolved. Thank you.
Have you brought this to the attention of the auditors?
Yes, please, and then we have letters as an evidence also with us.
You've given copies to the auditors? The approval letters?
Yes.
Okay, auditors, can you verify and confirm this?
Honorable Chair, in 2023, an approval was given by the Ministry of Finance to retain 66%, which we have those information with us. But the issue before 2023 is still outstanding. Thank you.
Chairman, that's why I have a question because of the nature of the recommendation. You simply recommended that they should seek approval. And from the way from the tenor of the recommendation, you're asking them to seek ratification. They've spent the money. So they should go back to try and ratify that. That's my understanding. Because we are saying if they don't do that, going forward, they should not utilize the funds. So in my opinion, once they've done that, there's nothing outstanding. Because in the other cases regarding the same ministry, you were specific in your recommendations. You didn't give a similar recommendation to, for instance, the rent control people. So if you can clarify your position.
I think that is about ratification, so they should also do the same, which is similar to the earlier one. Now, the OEB Area Water and Sanitation Scheme, is it under the ministry?
No, sir.
It's
under Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources.
Sanitation and Water Resources?
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is Public Works Department, Takrady, paragraph 594, Honorable Isaac Opoku.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, PWD Takrady. The infraction under paragraph 594 is rent in arrears. 11 tenants of the department defaulted in rent payments, and the total amount is 51,420. The recommendation is that you should either recover the amount or you eject them. So where do we stand now? Any updates on the recovery or ejection?
Honorable, this PWD is one of the decentralized departments. So we are responsible for only the headquarters. So anything in the regions has to do with the RCCs. It doesn't fall on us, sir.
Unable to answer this question?
Yes, sir.
Chairman. Oh, okay. Yes. When was this arrangement put in place? Since 2011.
So the Public Works Department is under which ministry?
responsible for only the headquarters.
Yeah, so which agency is now
The
responsible
RCCs.
for RCCs? So that should be local government.
Local government, sir.
Okay.
So you are responsible for the PWD headquarters. But then at the regional and district level, they are answerable to local government.
Yes, Chair, Mr. Chair.
So how do the headquarters, in a way, report on them, or how do they have any relationship whatsoever in their workings? Do they to the headquarters which you are responsible for?
Yeah, if there are policies that are developed by the headquarters, then it can be sent to the regions for adherence. But they are responsible to the RCCs and the district assemblies. It's because of the decentralization that has made it so.
All right, so based on this information, it means that we are done with the Ministry of Works and Housing. All the rent issues, no, rent control, we've done that already. That one is a repetition. So that'll be all for the ministry.
Mr. Chairman, I want, on behalf of my minister, to thank you for the opportunity to appear before you and to assure you that we take on board the advices that you gave us and work on it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's in court. It's in court.
Honorable Minister, we've listened to you. Thank you very much. But you know, my constituency is Ketunov. And I use the Aplau Road to my constituency. Anytime I'm passing there and I see the Seglemi projects, beautiful houses, beautiful buildings, are the fittings not deteriorating? The fittings in those in the building, are they not deteriorating?
Honorable Chair, yes, we've noticed some deterioration of some of the fittings, but
so we'll wait for all those things should deteriorate. They will come back and look for money and fix them before they are occupied.
Honorable Chair, I think government, there's a plan to deal with that Sagrame issue, and maybe in a different
to occupy it, or how? There was a time that we learned that the government want to sell them. Yeah. So what is preventing the occupation of those facilities? It's our own money. It's your tax money. It's my tax money.
We understand that it's of interest to Ghanaians, but I can assure you that government has a plan to deal with it.
Government is keeping too long in that plan. Government is keeping too long in that plan. The place should be occupied. It should be occupied. I drive that road, so when I see the project, I ask myself, what are we doing to ourselves?
Why don't they send the illegal squatters at the UNDP building?
You see the ministry? There are squatters, they don't care. The projects are there, they don't care. That's the nature of your ministry. You are discharged. Honorable members, let's have Ministry of Roads and Highways. Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. Sorry, sir. Chief, please let that be. You should be off. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Sir.
I,
Stephen Pambin Jalula,
swear by the Almighty God
swear by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
that the evidence I shall give before this committee
touching the matter in issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, you are not coming.
No, I've been standing with the Bible. I took this.
Honorable Deputy Minister, Honorable Chief Director, the Director of Finance, and all other directors, you are welcome.
Thank you, Chairman.
You are invited because you are cited in the 2021 MDA report of the Auditor General. So we will go straight to paragraph 600 of the report, and that will be taken by Honorable Sophia.
Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, before then, kindly introduce yourselves to the committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Stephen Jalula, MP for Pro West and Deputy Roads Minister.
Honorable Chairman, I'm Abbas Mohammed Awulu, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Frank Osei Sechere, Deputy Director at the Department of Urban Roads.
Honorable Chair, I'm Eric Oforiaman for Director of Finance, Ghana Highway Authority.
Honorable Chair, my name is Emmanuel Mamara, Director of Finance, Ministry of Roads and Highways.
Honorable Chair, I'm Dr. Frank Gamadi, Director of Audit, Ghana Highway Authority. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Sophia, you can go now.
Thank you, Chairman. Paragraph 600, unpresented payment vouchers, which amounted to 138,010. And then on paragraph 601, there's a table here that stated that the Chief Director Administration made a couple of payments and you didn't support it with the necessary documents and payment vouchers. Have you supported them now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that has been implemented.
Auditors, please, can you confirm to us if they have supported the documents?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, the presented payment vouchers has been presented now, and we have verified them. Thank you.
That's all for them, Chairman.
Thank you very much. The next infraction is on paragraph 610, and that is Honorable Admakwe Kisi.
Thank you, Chairman. This has to do with unsupported payments. We're within the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Amount is 61,000 Ghana cedis, 731. And this is in relation to 83 payment vouchers. Do we have the appropriate documents for all 83 at the moment, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That issue too has been resolved because we have presented the relevant documents to the auditors. But may I say that we are of the opinion that this particular issue should have gone under MMDAs and not under MDAs, which the ministry is in charge of. Because though this one is Accra Metropolitan Assembly Urban Roads, it's a decentralized unit, and they report to the local assembly and not to the Minister of Roads and Highways. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Audit Service, do we have the relevant documents?
Honorable Chair, all the necessary documents have been provided.
Okay. So, Chairman, I think that will be all. We'll note that. I think the clerk would note that. Thank you very much.
So how about the feeder roads? They're also under the local government, or they're under the ministry?
No, please. Feeder roads are under the Minister of Roads and Highways.
But the urban roads are under...
The assembly level.
Yes, please. The assembly level, we have urban roads that are responsible to the local authorities. Yes, but the feeder roads all over the country are under
the Ministry of Roads and
Highways.
So all these urban roads under Greater Accra, Accra Metro Office, they are all under the Assembly?
Yes, please. AMA.
AMA.
Yes, please.
But you've answered the question?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So auditors, take note that in your future reports, we should know the proper placement of these agencies so that it will help us. So your next one is paragraph 613. Which is unpresented payment vouchers. 9,820. Has it been presented? It's also under
AMA, Mr. Chairman. Yes, please. That, Mr. Chairman, that one too has been resolved, but it's still under AMA.
Okay. Auditors, has the paragraph 613 been resolved?
Honorable Chair, resolved.
Then paragraph 615, Honorable Apak.
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. The issue at hand has to do with unremitted withholding tax. And the amount involved is 2,682 Ghana cedis. Have you now remitted the said amount?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Auditors, can you confirm that this has been done?
Honorable Chair, it's still outstanding.
You say it has been done. Auditors say it's still outstanding. Does that mean you have not provided them with the evidence?
A moment, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have here receipts of for payment to GRA of an amount of 2,681 cedis 20 pesos. Thank you.
The amount is 2,682. Is that the same amount that you have?
6,681, 2,681 cedis, 20 pesos.
Well, it's short by 1 cedi. Well, this is public money. You should know. Even 50 pesos makes a difference. So, Mr. Chairman, the auditors have not seen the report, but the minister indicates that there is a receipt confirming that 2,681 has been paid. I leave it to your direction, Chairman. It is short by 1 cedi.
That's okay.
Although the auditors are yet to confirm. The Chairman, I humbly request that the minister pays the 1 cedi outstanding.
In fact, I'm sure he can even give you 100 right now. The next one, paragraph 618, Honorable Dakwa.
Thank you, Chairman. So the issue has to do with avoidable interest payments on contracts. So your contract agreement between Accra Metropolitan Roads Department and the contractors permitted contractors to apply for interest. That's a penalty on payments that were not effected within the specified dates indicated in the contract agreement. Okay, so it seems there are 4 companies here, and the total amount comes to 1.1 million. Is it cedis? Yes, Ghana cedis. Okay. So can you tell us what circumstances led to the payment of accumulated interest? In fact, have you paid that interest and what circumstances? Because I think the contract said if it delayed, then you pay. So something led to that delay. Can you just update us on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Indeed, it's true that when we are contracting for projects, there are clauses in the contract that allows the ministry to pay interest on delayed payments. And as we all know, government is not always able to pay on time. Therefore, incurring this cost. As you speak now, the amount in question has been paid. As
the contracts have been
executed.
The IPCs have been paid, but
the bills have been paid, except the interest on delayed payment that has not been done yet. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, so the 1.1 has not been paid, right? Okay, so did you
No, Mr. Chairman.
That's fine. So the auditor recommended that you carry out and investigate what circumstances led to the payment. You haven't paid, however, still certain circumstances led to the delay, right? So that investigation that was recommended by the Auditor General, has that been carried out?
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I don't think that we need to investigate why. Because we owe the contractors, we have presented our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance, and it's up to them to pay as and when they get the funding. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, okay, so from what you're saying, okay, you went into a contract with some companies. You signed a contract saying that if you don't deliver or you don't, there's any form of delay, okay, they are entitled to A and B and C, right? And then there was a delay. And so they requested that this is my entitlement because there's a delay, okay? And you have not paid, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think when contracts are entered into by the government agency, especially in this case roads, there's a 91 days within which an IPC is an interim payment certificate, when it's raised, has to be paid, beyond which the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So anytime the payment is made the contractor then calculates when was this payment due. Maybe the payment was due within 91 days. However, the payment had been made in 180 days, or the payment had been made in 360 days. So the difference between the 360 days and the 91 days, which was when the payment should have been made, the contractor then calculates the interest due. Because if I was to be paid within 91 days and you paid me in 360 days, I'm entitled to some interest. So they will normally wait till they are paid. Then they calculate from the date that they were paid, how many days was that behind schedule, and subsequently those interests, the interest is calculated subsequently. And that is what the Honorable Minister was saying. The payments have been made for the works. However, the interest payment has still not been done. But the contractor contractually is entitled to those interests. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So I think we're on the same page. They're entitled to that 1.1 million, and that is why the Auditor General raised it, okay, and said that whoever is found culpable should pay. So the issue here is the people are entitled money which should be paid. And we just want to know, has it been paid?
Honorable Chair, I think the Honorable...
You said no, it has not been paid. The recommendation says the people who are found culpable should be made to pay. You have not paid. Chairman, as it stands.
Well, here it's difficult to know whether anybody at the ministry is culpable. Who delayed the payments? Is it the Ministry of Finance? So, is it the Ministry of the Finance? Ministry of Finance delayed the payments. So if anybody is found culpable, then it should be the Minister of Finance. Because he didn't release the money, he didn't make the payments. So, I'm not sure if this recommendation is something that can be enforced. Auditors, do you think that this recommendation can be enforced?
Arrest the chief director.
Honorable Chair, we all know the government is already embedding with financial issues.
Are you sure?
So we are saying that our actions and inactions should be embedding the state again with things that we could do within a period of time so that we can avoid some of these.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That is what
I agree with you. That is why the ministry is saying that when the certificate is raised, it is supposed to be paid within 91 days. If it is paid within 91 days, no interest component comes in. But if it is paid even 1 day after the 91 days, the contractor will calculate interest for that 1 day. Now, if the delay is over 1 month, the interest will be growing. The longer the delay, the higher the interest component. In this case, the interest accrue up to 1.1 million. The calculation was based on when the actual principal was paid or the certificates were paid. The question is the delay an inaction of the Ministry of Roads and Highway officers, or is an inaction of the Ministry of Finance? It's a thorny issue. Minister of Finance will come and tell you that taxpayers didn't pay money, so I'm unable to pay at the time it was due. So it's an issue that we can debate and debate and debate. If you said we should give you the governance of this country we have given you, do you go back and be blaming the taxpayer? So it's a debatable issue. It's a debatable issue. If we are giving you and you're unable to do it, I think that the best the taxpayer would do is to give the governance to another person to see if they can do the right thing. Is that not the case? Honorable members, so when will this money be paid? Honorable Minister.
Minister, it will be difficult for us to tell when the money will be paid.
Are the contractors whose interest amount has also been delayed again, are they computing further interest on this?
Mr. Chairman, normally we don't get those cases.
No, come again.
Yes, so normally we don't have contractors applying for interest
on interest.
Yes, please.
Oh, that they are being generous.
Mr. Chairman, may I also add that now, when we are contracting, we, instead of the 91 days before we interest is calculated on the delay payment, we are now using 82 days. 182 days.
182 days.
Yes.
That's double
6
the
months, yes. Thank you.
But even that one, you are defaulting. Even that one, you are defaulting. So as we speak now, we don't know when this amount, 1.1 million, will be paid. Clerk, take note of this particular one. The Ministry of Road and Highways is unable to tell when the interest component will be paid to the contractors. Okay, let's go to paragraph 622. It's an approval of certificates of payment above contract sum, 54,000. The auditors noted that AMA awarded a contract to Shares ENH Engineering Limited under the supervision of Accra Metro Roads Department. The agreed contract sum is 1.4 million. Now, the contractor raised 2 certificates for payment, totaling 1.4 million, which was higher than 1.489 million. The contract was 1.434 million. So the 2 certificates totaling 1.489 million was higher than the contract sum by 54,356 cedis. They provided details of that. Now, further check by the auditors showed that there were no records showing that the entity tender committee approved additional works for the revision of the contract sum. Management could not also provide any documents to explain the overpaid amount of 54,356 to the contractor. The auditors have recommended that the head of Metro Roads Department should recover the overpaid amount from Shares ENH Engineering Limited. We want to find out if the recovery has been made.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wish to follow my earlier answer that these particular issues should have been directed to the AMA and not our ministry. Thank you.
So you don't have, even though all that we have answered earlier were supposed to go to AMA, but you answered them. This one, I'm sure you are not able to answer
this particular one we don't want to answer.
So we will have to call AMA to come and respond to this one. Let's take note, this must go to Ministry of Local Government when we meet them, I think tomorrow. Or, yeah, tomorrow. We are meeting them tomorrow. Now let's go to paragraph 603, Honorable Bauer, Department of Federal Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Minister, I think this one there is under your purview, so you can answer it. It relates to paragraph 604 that a former accountant, Mr. Adam Alasan, received monies totaling 10,000 Ghana cedis for contract fund and sale of tender documents, but deposited only 4,000, leaving a balance of 6,000. And the recommendation is that the regional manager should recover the amount of 6,000 from the former accountant. I want to find out whether this money has been recovered and paid into the appropriate fund.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, what I can report is that this issue was reported to the Ghana Police Service, Legon Police Station, and I think that the police are investigating the matter. Also, I think related to that one, Mr. Chairman, is the issue of the 19,000, which were all lumped together and reported to police and YOCO. And we have a copy of the publication of the YOCO listing him as a wanted person in Ghana. Yeah. Do I have it? Mr. Chairman, the gentleman is no longer a staff of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. Mr. Chairman, I have in my hands the publication by the YOCO. Yes, it can be found on the YOCO website. I can pass this.
Is that from the website of YOCO?
Yes, please.
No publication in any of the dailies? Nobody, it's not everybody who go to YOCO's website.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'll verify. We'll verify.
Pass it on. Let everybody see the... in fact, when it gets to me, I want the camera to zoom on it. I'll do it like this so that my face doesn't show. So that is Adam Al-Hassan. If he's in the country, anybody who knows him should inform him that he's being wanted, or person should report to the nearest police station so that YOCO can go and pick him. All right, so this one covered the next infraction also, which is the amount is 19,000 under paragraph 606. So we'll move on to paragraph 625. Honorable Aka.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Your department owed 147 contractors an amount of 200.3 million Ghana cedis. And I would like to know if this amount had been settled. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, indeed it's true that we owe contractors to the tune of 200,343,692 cedis and the 2 pesos. Yes, in the eastern region. Mr. Chairman, as we do always, we report on our indebtedness to the Minister of Finance, and we wait for funding to pay. Okay, so Mr. Chairman, that is it. Thank you.
So have you been able to settle at least part of the amount, or not at all?
Chairman, we will check and update the committee on that one. Because the issue was that we owed so much to a number of contractors. Yes, the Minister of Finance has just done some payment recently, and we are yet to update our list of indebtedness. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Chairman, you heard him right, so it's not...
Honorable Deputy Minister, you are appearing before Public Accounts Committee. You know of this particular infraction. You are not telling the committee that you will now go back and update your records. It means that you're not prepared. Should we suspend the sitting for you to go and update and come back?
No, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, what I was just trying to say is that the payment of indebtedness is an ongoing process. It's not
that is why, if you have a system to update your indebtedness, at any point in time you are called, you just retrieve it from your system, so that you know that for this region, this is the current debts outstanding. It might even end up by saying that these 200 that is reported here, the current debt will be more than the 200. Because it's an ongoing thing. As you are paying the old debt, new ones are being added because we are awarding new contracts. Do you understand the point? So you need to have a system that updates your debt. At any point in time, it is paid.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you're right. Let me rephrase my earlier statement to say that as at this moment, that is the indebtedness that we owe the contractors. But I also want to make a statement that the government is paying contractors as we speak now. It could happen that even a few moments ago, some of those contractors were paid, or they will be paid as soon as maybe after this sitting. Thank you.
Okay, clerk, take note. The ministry is unable to tell us how much has been paid out of these debts. You didn't tell us whether you've been able to pay 1 cedi out of it. Let's go to paragraph 628, Honorable Ales.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The story is not different from the foregoing one. The Department of Federal Roads awarded 28 contracts amounting to 245,487,859.75, and these contracts were not completed within the specified contract period. The contracts have delayed for periods ranging between 7 months 114 months with its contractual implications or financial implications to government. The Chief Director, you've been asked to investigate the cause of the delay, and whoever is found culpable should be liable for the cost increment. What have you done about that, Chief Director?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. An update, as the contracts run, the update is that some of the projects have been completed. And then I can list them. We have copies of those projects that have been completed. There was 7 of them have been completed. A significant number of them have been terminated, just because the contractors could not meet the conditions of contract in terms of delivery and so on. So that list 2 on the terminated contracts have also been indicated. And then we also have about 4 or 5 of them that are still ongoing. Means that the contractors are working, and then some extension of times have been given. So one, yes, those projects are ongoing. A certain number of them, I think about 6 of them, have been completed. 12 of them have been terminated, and currently...
Mr. Chief Director,
yes.
Like you are saying, do you have a document to that effect, indicating those that have been completed, those that have been terminated, and those that are ongoing, and the amounts paid so far? Can you furnish the committee with those documents?
Honorable Chair, I can indicate projects, the status of each project as at now, in terms of those that have been completed, in terms of those that have been terminated, and in terms of those that are ongoing. But the latter part of the question, as to the status of payment or not payment, that we can finish. But in the main question was the completion of the project. And I can indicate that, 1, bridge construction of 20-meter and 40-meter span steel bridges over River Osiem Akura Brim in the eastern region. The contractor was Horinsa. The contract sum was 8.1 million. Project has been completed. We have the rehabilitation of Akosu, Subrisu, Ntronan Road. Contract sum was 2.1 million. The contract has been completed.
Chief Director,
yes,
kindly provide that document to the clerk to the committee.
All right. Thank you,
yes.
sir.
In addition to that, you were advised to prioritize the delayed projects before awarding new ones. Have you been doing that?
Yes, in terms of prioritization, yes. Because if there is a contract in a municipality or in a district, you try as much as possible to make sure that those ones that are ongoing are completed. If they are not, you terminate and then re-award. And basically that's why some of the projects have been terminated. And then the processes for re-award then kicks in.
Auditors, are the stories true?
Honorable Chair, we don't have any information or documents to that effect. So maybe we are yet to be given those informations. Thank you.
Honorable Apak.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, my interest is with regards to the terminated contracts. Do you have specific reasons why those contracts were terminated? And is the reason across board?
Honorable Chair, reasons for termination varies from contract to contract, though sometimes they might be general. One is non-performance by the contractor. Some contractors are giving work, they do the clearing, and from clearing, they leave this, they abandon site. So if you abandon site, the contract conditions indicates that the resident engineer should give you some warning letters. After a certain period, the contract is recommended for termination. That could be one. contracts can also be terminated per the conditions of contract by the contractor himself. If the contractor feels that there are certain excluding conditions that does not make him or her perform, the contractor can write to the employer based on the condition of contract and say that I'm terminating the contract at my pleasure. So there are various contractual conditions that will emanate into termination, but paramount mostly will be non-performance.
Are you sure? Because I know in my constituency, for example, most of the contracts that have been terminated and are being re-awarded or which have been terminated is as a result of lack of payment of certificates. Is it not the case that this is also a very prominent reason why most contracts have been terminated, because the contractors haven't done some work and failing to get paid for the work done are no longer able to continue?
Mr. Chairman, I do not have the specific case that the Honorable is talking about. But the bottom line is that if a contractor works and he's not paid under the conditions of contract, the contractor can serve notice to suspend and go through a process and suspend work. That is allowed. So because once the employer does not pay you within a certain period, the contractor is entitled to interest on delayed payment. So the contractor cannot ask for two things at the same time. You terminate at your own will and ask for interest on delayed payment. So the contract allows, if for some reason the employer is not observing the conditions of contract and you are still interested in the contract, you suspend. But you go through a process of suspending. Once you suspend, all the other conditions of contract applies to that specific contract, and so on and so forth. But if you leave the contract at abeyance, simply because the employer has not paid you, the employer can enforce the contractual conditions, and one of it is to terminate at the pleasure of the employer. So basically, it's a contract, and at each point of the way, each contracting party should then read the contract properly and see what compensatory events that they have with their contract so that they can fall upon that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. I will leave it here, but I will furnish you with specifics as far as my constituency is concerned.
Mr. Chief Director, the response from the audit service seems to suggest that they are not privy to the information you have provided to the committee.
Mr. Chair, this information was part of our attachment that we did serve. Maybe specifically to them, maybe we can still forward that. But these are part of attachment that we did serve to the Auditor General as part of our audit responses and so on and so forth. So maybe specifically they don't have it. We can always serve them with copies and indicate the status. And we have external auditors auditing us now. We can always visit those sites to confirm the status that we had indicated. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, concluded.
Let's move to paragraph 631. Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Deputy Minister, you're welcome. I'm sure this one you will be able to do justice to it because you are responsible for those regions, including mine. Thank you. This to do with delayed projects in the Upper West region, specifically your office in Wa. In 2019 and 2020, you awarded 51 contracts, which totaled, in terms of money, 5,890,591 Ghana cedi. But all these contracts were found to be behind completion schedule, and warning letters have been written to the contractors about delays. You are to take steps to make sure that the contract terms are enforced. I want to find out what you have done in relation to these 51 contracts. Which of them have been completed and what actions have been taken? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, 51 contracts were awarded in 2019-2020. Mr. Chairman, I can report that out of the 51, 23 have been completed and 28 have been abandoned. And these are routine maintenance contracts that we awarded in the Upper West region. Thank you.
28 abandoned, 23 completed. Any reasons for the abandonment of these 28, which is more than 50%? That means more than 50% of the contracts have been abandoned.
Mr. Chairman, as earlier said or indicated by my Chief Director, there are reasons why a contractor will leave site. And one thing we noticed is that the classification of companies as road contractors was an issue. So in 2022, my boss set up a committee to come out with a new recommendations on how to reclassify all the road contractors in the country so that we can weed out mushroom companies and one-man contractors, those who don't really have the capacity to be in the road sector. So since 2022, that is what we've been doing, and we hope that by the new ways of reclassifying the companies, we will not have companies coming in to win projects and then abandon them later on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, like Mr. Park said earlier, I equally have similar situation, and you are aware that you and I have had conversation with situations like that, even in our part of the region and my constituency specifically, where the abandonment was as a result of non-payment. And specifically, Mr. Chairman, it's a major route that connects one municipality to another district. And per the policy that you have, that at least there should be a good route that connects one municipality to another. Such abandonment, I believe that the ministry should be particularly interested in, and to make sure that it's done. You know, Upper West is also a major food basket when it comes to maize supply and then the rest in the Sisala areas and what have you. So if you have 28 of such projects abandoned, so what are you doing? Let me summarize it. What are you doing to get either new contractors or same back on these abandoned 28 contracts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said earlier on, Mr. Chairman, these were routine maintenance projects. That means that yearly we do them. So if a contractor is unable to perform, we take them out, and the following year is re-awarded to a different person.
So it means like other contractors have gone on the same road and worked on them now as we speak. So it's not like since 2019, 2020, we haven't done anything on such road. Do I take your answer that they've abandoned, and since it's 2021 audit, in 2022, something was done on those routes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's positive, because even those that were worked on, I'm sure that they have deteriorated again, and we will do another, we send other contractors on the same road again. So it's routine. Every year we have to work on the roads to make them more trouble, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll take note of this, your answer. Later on, I will find out why it's not happening in my constituency. Later on, I'll find out why it's
Mr.
not
Chairman,
happening.
the honorable member is talking about the trunk road that links bigger communities or municipalities, and that is not routine. We'll chat later.
Auditors, can you confirm the information provided?
Honorable, we are yet to be given that information.
So maybe you get your regional and district people to do some follow-up. Mr. Chairman, that should be all for them on this.
Paragraph 634, Honorable Aziz.
Thank you, Chairman. The issue has to do with indebtedness of the department to contractors. 28 contractors were given some jobs in 2020, and payments were made, but it was left with 444,000 plus. I would like to find out if this has been cleared. Department of Feeder Roads were
Mr. Chairman, we have implemented that issue partly because some payments have been made, but we still have an outstanding amount to pay up. Thank you.
how much payment have you made from the 444,298 Ghana cedis? How much?
Mr. Chairman, we have paid about 2.9, and we have an outstanding amount of 444,000.
Minister, that's not the issue. The recommendation was that you awarded a contract totaling 3.3 million, and you made payment of 2.9, leaving a balance of 444,000 plus. So the recommendation is that you should ensure you pay the balance. So I'm asking, from these 444,000, how much are you been able to pay?
Yes. Honorable Chair, I think there was maybe a slight, the details are that the contracts were awarded to the tune of 2.9 billion. The work certified to date was a 2.4 billion. Outstanding amounts in the various contracts total the 400 and something thousand. It didn't translate to works done. So technically, you cannot say that it's an indebtedness to us. So a contract is awarded, a certain amount of work is done. There's still money in the contract. That money in the contract, until works are done, does not translate.
Thank you, Chief Director.
And basically,
can the auditors explain to us why this recommendation? The auditors, can you explain why you made this recommendation, listening to what the Chief Director is saying?
It's only one question.
Honorable Chair, if you look at the information that we put out there, I think we'll go with what the Chief Director has explained, because the contract that was awarded was 3.3 million, and an amount of 2.9 was paid out of it, leaving a balance of 444. So we are here to confirm whether that aspect of the contract was executed, which for which they have to pay the 444, 298.
Mr. Auditor, it means that this is a wrong recommendation. Yes, Chairman, I yield to you. Thank you.
But Chief Director,
So, by inference, these are abandoned works by the contractors. Is that the case? Or has it been completed?
These are works that have been certified.
Yes.
So if the contractor executes works, those works are certified. But it doesn't mean that if the contract sum has been exhausted. So technically it means that there's still a bit of money left in the contract that some additional works can be made. But if the works have been completed and then you didn't complete the expenditure that was expected to be made, it stands as works not yet done.
Well, probably maybe I was playing into the technical bit, but let me come to my understanding. What is the status of those roads now, as we speak?
The status I will have to check, but the point is that these are works that have been certified, and the works that have been certified is information that we have. But the question was that there was additional money that had not yet been paid. We're just drawing the attention that it might not necessarily be additional money. It's just that it's money still in the contracts that have not yet been spent, as it were. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Director. I think that your explanation is worth it. So, according to the auditors, the total contract sum is 3.3 million. Auditors are saying that 2.9 million has been paid, which means that, per your explanation, 2.9 million was certified and paid. According to the auditors, they assume that the contract sum of 3.3 million was certified. That is, per what they have written here, was certified and 2.9 million was paid, and for that matter, 444,000 still remain outstanding. But your explanation means that the contract sum is 3.3 million, all right, but the 2.9 million which was certified has been paid. The 444,000 might mean that work was not done, no certificate has been issued for that. Is that the case? So what is the status of that now? 2020, yes, we are now in 2023. Yes, sir. Has that portion which has not been certified now?
Mr. Chair, I will share this. For instance, periodic maintenance. There's a periodic maintenance of whole Poly Japo Road, which was to be undertaken, I think it's re-graveling, by Mrs. Ifasco.
No, we are dealing with different region now, not...
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
We are not in Ho. We'll come to Ho, don't worry.
Okay, the whole one is here. No, Upper West is... Okay.
That one, that's what we gave
out. Okay, the Upper West we've given...
It's here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, but the contract sums are not here. Okay. Yes, again, the contract sums are not here, but just we'll furnish the Secretariat with the hard copies. What it means that works have been executed to the amount that maybe a contract was given at 1 million. I don't have the details, Mr. Chair. But works executed for the completion of that project was 900,000. So there's 100,000 that is still technically available in the contract. And is this total that has been seen as, so we have not yet paid for that. But basically it means that it has not been certified. And because it has not been certified, it cannot be paid for.
Yes, I agree with you. But I want to know, because this is 2020, as of December 2020, that portion of 444 has not been certified. As we speak now, in 2023, has that portion been worked on and certified?
Mr. Chairman, I'll have to get that information, sir.
Don't you have the regional director for Feeder Road from WA? Don't we have him here?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
We should have brought them.
Okay, sir. We'll take
All
them.
the regions affected, I should have brought them. The regional director. It means that the regional director in Ho is also not here.
No, sir. Gregory is not here, sir.
You even know his name.
Because the whole one is a serious matter. So provide the information on the Upper West one,
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair.
if that portion has been certified or not. Okay, next one, paragraph 637, Honorable Yusuf.
Chairman, thank you. So from Upper West Department of Federal Roads to Volta Region, Department of Federal Roads, specifically Ho. And the infraction here has to do with delayed projects. 22 contracts were awarded amounting to 487,578,158.82 Ghana cedis. And the work scheduled was supposed to be completed between 2013 and 2019. But as we speak, about 22 of these contracts at the time that the audits did their work hadn't been completed. What is the status of these projects?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, yes, 22 contracts were awarded between, awarded and they were supposed to have been completed by 2013 and 2019. But as we speak now, 7 have been completed, and these projects total 120 million. 521,841 cedis. And as the Honorable rightly said, 22 are outstanding. And the Chairman, we have the updated data on those projects for your perusal.
Let me find out how many have been completed, how many ongoing, and how many have you terminated?
Mr. Chairman, as I said, the list is here. 7 have been completed. And we also indicated the status of the others. Some have been, 3 have been terminated, and others have stalled. And I think 12 have stalled.
When you say 12 have stalled, what are we talking about? What exactly are you referring to?
The Chairman, it simply means that the contractor is not on site.
And so what action are you taking?
The Chairman, normally warnings are sent and eventually the contract is terminated.
Deputy Minister, have you done that? Have you sent the warning letters to them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you are on the process of terminating them. Is that not the case?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Those that have not been terminated.
Let me find out from you. Those that you have terminated, have you re-awarded them?
Mr. Chairman, no. We will need a budget to be able to re-award those projects. Thank you.
Auditors, can you confirm this?
Honorable Chair, per the status that we have, none of them is completed. Apart from construction of 70 M-span steel bridge, number VR/B02 on the Garosota Bomingo feeder route, which is 98 completed, none. That is the status that we have as at now.
Minister, how do you reconcile this?
Yes, Honorable Chairman, as I indicated earlier on, this is a current update on those projects, and we have a copy for the committee.
So then you have to update the auditors, give them the current status of it so that they can't. So, Chairman, that is the status of it. Some have been terminated, some are ongoing, and some are stalled and they are in the process of terminating them. And they also said that those that have been terminated, they're still looking for money to re-award them. Let me find out whether you have considered this under this current budget or you're going to put them in the next budget, because you shouldn't just leave them out like that.
Mr. Chairman, we are unable to give that specific information here. We will consult our regional managers of the Federal Roads Department and get back to the committee on that. Thank you.
Chairman, if you are okay, I'm okay.
Honorable Deputy Minister,
Chairman.
your demeanor alone shows something. Your demeanor shows something. It's telling a message. Included in those 22 projects, you have the list. Do you have Ahi, Georgia, Agbozuma, Town Road? Which is,
can you mention the name again?
Ahi is spelled E-H-I. Do you have it there? Which also includes Germany.
Peki is not number 7, Honorable Member. The store. Where is it? Okay.
You have it there.
Ehi Doje and Ehi Town Roads.
Yes.
Agbozomi.
Yes.
Ehi and Todome. Balim.
Tokpalime.
Oh, Palime.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. It was awarded to GS International Development Limited.
Yeah.
And it is one of the projects that have stalled, Mr. Chairman.
What is the reason for the contract being stalled? What is the reason?
Mr. Chair, the contractor has left site.
It is not true.
Oh.
Chief Director, it is not true.
Oh, okay. But the project has stalled.
The contractor, when the contract was awarded in 2016, contractor has worked with speed. In 2017, he was asked to stop work. He stopped work. He prepared his first certificates up to date. Certificate had not been honored. 7 years. The certificate has not been honored. Last year, we persuaded him and he came back to site. Strangely, Department Environmental EPA from Ho came to seize his equipment that he didn't obtain permission or permits to go and cut gravel from a different area to site. I was shocked. Then a contractor who is working on project for us, he issued a certificate, he was not paid. He came back to site and he was arrested for not obtaining permit, and for that matter, his equipment was seized by the EPA. So the contractor got angry And when the equipment were released to him, he packed his things and left the site. I reported this to the minister. Up to date, the project has stalled because of this. So it cannot be that the contractor left site. I'm giving this information openly. In fact, the people of Ketunov, Ehi, Joje, they are listening to what I'm saying now. Please, let's do something about it.
Mr. Chair, we'll do something about it. But the environmental protection laws of the country, before you win gravel from any place, you are bound to have permits. And I think that this particular contractor is a very experienced contractor. And he does know that you need those permits. And so, yes, doing the road is critical, but obtaining the permit is paramount before he can do anything. Because by the time he finishes, because EPA will want to know how he intends to reinstate the borough pits when he leaves the site and so on. If he doesn't obtain a permit, the potential that after winning the gravel, he will leave those pits is extremely high. So we'll work on it. We'll get him and the EPA, but make sure that he obtains the necessary permits so that he can get back to site. Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I also want to find out in terms of payments, the contract sum here is 67 million, and the certified sum is 21. 37% were complete. I want to find out whether he was paid.
I think that if I borrow from Honorable Chair, my understanding is that he has not yet been paid. But though he hasn't been paid...
No, don't borrow from me. Because my information is that he has not been paid. But you have the facts.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I will check on that fact. But I do know that GS International, anytime his certificates are paid, he regularly puts in interest on delayed payments, if he is entitled to any. So, but I'll check on whether he has been paid or not. But I was just making the point that GS International is a very experienced contractor, and he normally will go for permits before he goes to any borough pit to take out gravel material. So I'm a bit surprised that in this particular instance, they didn't do that. We'll check. It's our responsibility to facilitate, discuss with EPA, and make sure he gets the necessary permits so he can get back to site as quickly as possible.
Director, you are saying that this didn't come to your notice. He has abandoned the site, work is not going on, and you are not aware of the reasons why he abandoned the site?
Regional directors will know. Like the chairman did say, maybe next time we have to bring the regional directors here. They will know the details because they are the operational people on the ground. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
There is another road in Ketunov. In fact, it passes through my village. The name of the contract is Agove Junction to Devego and Tajewu Town Roads. I'm not sure if it's part of this. The Agove Junction to Devego. It was also awarded in 2016. The contractor is Sar and Sarad. Sar and Sarad. And they've done the prime seal in September 2016. And they're supposed to come back by maybe February, March 2017. Since then, no work was going on. Now the road has deteriorated badly again.
We all have roads.
Chairman, to add to what you say, I have this Sar and Sarad Limited, and it's supposed to be Tazewu.
That is it. Town roads.
Yes. So
yeah, that's a project.
So it's part of it.
That's the project.
It's part of it. 80% were complete.
Yes, because they've done the prime seal.
Yeah.
But the road has gone bad because 7 years it's gone bad. What are you going to do about that road too?
Mr. Chair, we'll take the necessary step. Once you indicated primer sale per our conditions is what it is, primer. It's just to retire dust and cover up the base material. And invariably, within 2 months or maximum 3 months, another layer of bitumen, which is called the fair seal, should be applied. Once that is not done, the road will deteriorate. So the regional director will have to reassess the volume of work or the quantum of work that will have to be done. They will have to scarify, maybe rebase the road again and build up from where the deterioration started.
So we'll leave that one to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honorable Roxon.
Kofi, you've asked Jessica and Rose already. Chairman, thank you. Chairman, the problem with the road project Chairman spoke about is that it's such a complex contract. My portion is the Todome to Parliament to Germany, 21.8 kilometers. That one, the contractor hasn't been back since 2017. Now, the problem for me is that I have spent all these years since coming into office doing rehabilitation every year. But it's gotten to a stage where I can no longer grade the road because small boulders have emerged on the road. I've scraped all the gravel surface. All the laterite is gone. So in large sections, we can no longer grade it. So I've been praying for your intervention, but it's not happening. Meanwhile, the information is under contract. The contract is in abeyance. So what do we do? That's my problem. What do we do? Do we decouple it from the Tajifu one, or we keep it the way it is? Like, sorry, the Jujeki one, do we decouple it, or we maintain it and re-award it and get the contractor to come and deal with? Because I honestly can no longer rehabilitate. I can no longer grade it. And so it's a problem for me. The other issue I have in Southern is that you have awarded Peve to Peveton where the Ghana water pumping station is 3.3 kilometers. Anum Peki Jacket to Anum 5 kilometers. It is. Then Chibu to Chate 5 kilometers. Then the rest, the same project. I'm trying to explain the project. The same project, 3.3 kilometers, is at the Clipper, that is the regional minister's hometown. One contract, 15.5 kilometers to B-Rock. It was awarded sometime in 2017 or 18. He began work very well, but non-payment has also forced him out. But I don't see him featuring in the outstanding projects or delayed projects that have been captured by the auditors. Bureau contractors. So if you can take that two up for me, I'll be very grateful. Especially because the road to where the Ghana water pumps water is so terrible, and you know how important water matters are. I thank you, Chairman.
So, Honorable Minister, I kindly take all these things on board. I'll take the last one from Honorable Kofi Adams.
Thank you very much. Well, this is about routes, not in WIM constituency. This is to do with Fodome to Hohwe route. Fodome to Hohwe route. And I'm just reading the update, and it says the contractor is on site. The last time a contractor ever worked on that section of the route was somewhere 2020. Somewhere 2020, the early part of it, because that's the route I use regularly to my constituency. It's when you get to Golokwati, you have to divert and take right, go through Fodome to Howe, because at least it's better than going straight. The last time ever. I want to find out, because what you are doing, if you say 44% complete, that contractor is on site, there's no contractor on site as far as the Fodome to Howe section is concerned. There's no contractor on site. The same way we saw a report, even in the budget, this one not Auditor General's report though, that Howe to Dodo-Pepesu is 100% complete. As we speak now, between Central Kofi and Howe is in a terrible state. So number 16, item 16, I just saw it and I thought that I should draw your attention.
Mr. Chair, actually what we have here, Hohoi Fodome, is part of the project that have been stalled. So I don't know, maybe we might be reading from separate this thing. No, number 13, under the project that have been stalled, Hohoi Fodome, Joe Azar Company Limited, project has stalled. And I do remember that this is one of the projects that the Honorable Minister himself did call the contractor to try to get back, because the contractor indicated that he has materials on site. He had chippings, he had bitumen that he can go back to site. And then he was waiting for some instructions. But here it stands stalled. So I don't know whether it's the same road that you are referring to, Honorable Chair.
Same. So if it's stalled, then and the minister has called the contractor, then you must find out why. The same with the Central Kofi to Hohwe also. It's stalled. Why? The contractor has a lot of material, but then maybe payments is not being delivered in time.
Some instructions have been given to the Department of Federal Roads to ensure that the contractor goes back. It wasn't the issue of payment. There was some issue of some technical question of stabilizing the base instead of just using gravel. The contractor suggests that given the nature of the gravel material there, he wasn't getting G80. So it meant that he had to use chippings and stabilize the base. Maybe 60-40 ratio so that he can put in the primer seal. And basically that was a technical issue that had been sorted out. That is on the Hohoi Fodome.
Director, let me that road, the primer sealing you are talking about was done, and in 2020 they tried putting some first bitumen. So we had gone past what you are talking about, unless you are saying what he did was not right. So he's been asked to go back and do another primer seal again, because they've crossed that, and then first bitumen was done in 2020, but it's become so bad, terrible.
That's Mr. Chair, that's the point that we're making. The issue is that the road is in a terrible condition. If I do recollect, the question was that the base that was used for the primer seal should have been stabilized. That was it. Because if you use, because you weren't getting the G80 is a gravel of a certain strength. If you don't meet it and you compact, you don't get close to 100. Once you lose that percentage and you put in the primer seal, the road will deteriorate. And I think that was the main point of departure between the contractor and the supervisors. So a technical meeting was called, and then we agreed that the instructions should be given to a contractor to stabilize the base, at least add some chippings to it, that will raise the strength of that material and straighten. So we should go back, scarify, rebase, and go on. So the question that you said is primary silt. But primary silt in what condition? Terrible. So we need to give the people the road they deserve. So you have to go back, take out everything, stabilize the base, add chippings to the gravel, and compact. Then the engineers come back to check the field density, to check the strength, and be sure that you are meeting the 100% or close to 100. Then the primary silt can be put on, as well as the first and second silt. And that was the instruction. We had a technical meeting. That was the instruction that has been given. And the Department of Feeder Roads is expected to carry out those instructions, Mr. Chairman.
All right, let's move on to paragraph 639. Honorable Sampson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Minister, here, Department of Urban Roads, Takoradi. I think there are about 7 projects, an amount of 119,786,315.41. There's a table. There's a table there. Some of the projects were supposed to last for 22 months, some other 12, other 3 months. And the payment made so far about 53.3 million. Please, what is the state of this roads as we are speaking now?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think out of the 7 roads that were mentioned by the auditors, we have 1 that has been completed. The second one to be determined or terminated. 1, 2, if you don't mind, I'll mention the name. Upgrading of Axim Town roads is 85% complete. Yes, from 31. Then we have rehabilitation of selected roads in Takoradi, Lot 1. It was 24, but it's now 40% complete. Upgrading of selected roads in Isikado, Ketan Submetropolitan Area, Lot 2. It was 60%, but it has been completed. Then we also have rehabilitation of Takwa Senior High School roads. It was 18, now 80%. Upgrading of Mapis and selected collector and arterial roads in Ifia, Kwisimintin, and we are doing the binder now, course now. So, Mr. Chairman, that is the current state of those projects.
Tell the committee that all the projects are in progress. Yes, we are working on it. All the
yes, Mr. Chairman, except 1, which is the upgrading of Asankragua town roads.
That let me just excuse me to say, it looks like I think this one is better, but the previous ones, there were a lot of them you terminated, some were abandoned and all that. Please, is those projects, were they part of the 10,000 roads that you compiled and gave to the minister, the president to announce? And when you terminated them, have you selected them so far? Can you tell the committee how many of the roads you can comfortably tell Ghanaians you've done so far? Because it looks like out of the 10,000 now, there are some that have been abandoned, stalled.
10,000 in
want to know how many roads? Please. If the president is reporting today, how many roads should he report?
Honorable, 10,000 in the audit report. Is that what you are making reference to? Please answer questions from the audit report, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What I can say is that the 10,000 roads that Mr. President talked about were roads that were done. We are talking about roads that we are doing now. So I'm sure when the President gets the opportunity to speak to us again, he would update us on the current...
Minister, this road started from 2017 to 2020. So if you are talking about roads that were done, definitely some of these roads should be part of the roads that were done. I'm not talking of roads that you have started 2021. I'm talking of roads reported up to 2020. And these roads are part of the 10,000 roads. So I'm asking you, now that you have selected and abandoned some, and somewhere so you have abandoned some, can we select those roads so that the Ghanaians will know so far up to 2020 how many roads were completed or have you been able to complete? But if you are talking of this, you're my brother, Minister,
Honorable
you know
member.
my junior brother. But you know you're on the oath, and you are from the north. You know we don't tell.
Honorable member.
So don't say that.
Honorable
You're
member.
my own brother.
Honorable member. Let's move on, please. The next infraction is on paragraph. Oh, you have the last one. The last one is on paragraph 641, and Deputy Ranking will take that one.
Well, thank you very much, and I think, Deputy Minister, first let me commend you for the way you answer questions. Indeed, you are learning from your boss, especially when it comes to assuring and reassuring. Yes, you have learned the trade very fast. Yes, and that is good. But my question has to do with abandoned projects. So today in the Western region, the dualization of the Kansawuru bypass phase 3, the reconstruction of the Fijai bypass dual carriage and Accra road, the upgrading of access to Takwa New Hospital Road, and the emergency of asphaltic overlay of some selected arterial and collector roads in Takoradi Lot 2 has not been completed or have not been completed. What is the current status of these projects, sir?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I think that 2 out of the 4 projects have been completed, and the outstanding 2 are also ongoing. Mr. Chairman, dualization of Kasawudu bypass, Kasawuredu bypass phase 3, which is 8 kilometers, is completed now. It was 96%, but now completed. Now we also have reconstruction of Fijai bypass and dual carriageway and Accra road. It's been done by Sabia Engineering. It is also, that one is to be terminated. Okay. Exactly. So the next one is upgrading of access to Takwa New Hospital Road Phase 2 by the same Sabia Engineering Limited. That one was 91%, but it's been completed. Then we also have emergency asphaltic overlay of selected arterial and collector roads in Takoradi Lot 2. It was 58%, but Mr. Chairman is now 75% complete. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I like the bit about terminating road contracts. And I think it's something that ought to be done quickly. For instance, in my constituency, I have a major problem. I mean, as a Kakatan Rose. I'm the Hey, Kofi, your deputy ranking is on the floor, and you are interjecting me.
Is it a public interest question?
Oh, Chairman, you came around.
No, it's a public interest question.
No, it's a.
If it's a public interest question, you can ask.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, as a Kakatan Rose, the contractor indicates that he can no longer do the work. We've been looking forward to termination of his contract and subsequent re-awarding of the contract to another contractor, and it's delayed. And the level of tension in the town it is a bit worrying, which may even affect not just the political heads, but even the traditional heads of the town. So please, let's take steps to terminate contractors, because since 2020, if the contractor has not come to site, it's an indication that he no longer wants to do the work anymore. So please, these are my concerns. So as a Kakatan Rose, Alaji, if you have something for me, I'll be very grateful. My people are watching. My people are watching.
All right. Honorable Kofi Adams, do you have any? You say you want to ask public interest question. It's 2, but I'll permit only 1. Only one, please.
Okay, then maybe I'll go for one that is of great interest. Since the first one is in the eyes of the public, the ministry itself will see it. So let me deal with my region. We have this very important route that I mentioned earlier, which connects from Jasikan through Bodada, Tetema, Baika, and through there you link to the new district, which is the Guan district capital. The contract was awarded in 2015. The contractor was on it working. It was supposed to be completed by 2018. But in 2017, he was asked to stop for the general investigations, which report came out that nothing untoward was done. The minister was in Parliament to answer questions that I filed, and he indicated that they have repackaged that project to be re-awarded in 2022. We are in 2023. No contractor is back on that route. No routine maintenance, and it's in a very terrible state. Mr. Minister, can you assure my people that this contract will be re-awarded soon?
All right, Minister, response.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that, as he indicated earlier, our boss has already spoken on that road.
Just an assurance, yes or not. So move forward.
I want to assure my colleague, Mr. Chairman, that we've taken note of it and we will work on it and to get it re-awarded to a new contractor.
Okay. Honorable Dakwa.
Thank you, my dear Chairman. So I think ideally this should go to the Accra Metro office. Okay, I'm sure you have your representative here. Oh, there's no representative. Okay. So there's this road. Okay, it's in the middle of Accra, and so there's always heavy traffic. I think over the years the road has become very deplorable. Okay, I'm aware they have been given some clearance for pothole patching in the constituency in Okankwe South. I would like to know, can you vary it? Because that road is terrible. It's like 1 kilometer. It's not.
Can you mention the road?
Tabo Street. That's the name of the road, Tabo Street. The measurements have been done. They've costed it. Everything has gone to the ministry. But it's a matter of priority for me. That road is terrible. It links to hospitals, the Darkman post office. It links to a lot of places that people use a lot. Because in the center of Accra, I think we need to pay some attention to it. Because the commuters are always complaining, and I use it as well. It's very bad. And so please, I know assurances are there, but even if we can vary the pothole patching to deal with that road, because there's clearance for the pothole patching, I think it will end up saving a lot of hassle. People's tires, even me, when I use that road, sometimes I have problems. People's shocks, their tires, they have too many issues. Please, let's focus on Tabo Street in Okankwe South. Thank you.
Well noted, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Honorable Minister, you take a note of that.
Yes,
right?
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Bauer.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, mine has to deal with a road that was awarded in 2017, linking Kofiasi to Anyinasu. I know the Chief Director is aware of this road I'm talking about. It was awarded to Pretty Apps. And as at now, the road is completely blocked. The contractor has left sites, nothing is ongoing, and commuting from which is Mampong, to Anyinasu, now by that road is almost impossible. You have to pass through, come through Egra, go through Sechedumasi before you go to Anyinasu. I mean, which is costing a lot of, you know the place is a food basket, and that's the major road that they use. So I would like to find out when is the contractor coming back to site? Because contractor has completely abandoned site.
So you are asking that the contractor should come back to site?
Contractor should come back to site.
Okay, take note, Minister, take note. Honorable Yusuf.
Thank you, Mr.
Chairman, thank you. Chairman, I want to find out from the Deputy Minister I drew his attention to a road between Banankonta and Tinga at a very specific place called Bumbute. It's a trunk road. There's serious erosion on that major road, and if care is not taken, by the close of this rainy season, the road will be cut off between Banankonta and Tinga. And if that happens, what it means is that people from Upper West can no longer access the southern sector of this country. What have you done so far? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I'm very much aware of that particular stretch of road because I think there was an incident that I had to personally go there and then check. And what happened is that normally when this happens, we look for a contractor that is nearby and we vary their contract so that they go and do the remedial works for us. So we will ensure that as soon as possible, whichever contractor is in the Savannah region or nearby regions, and they can move in quickly to resolve it for us, we do that. And Mr. Chairman, just let me just acknowledge the concerns that my honorable friend Roxanne made earlier regarding South Dai routes. My chief director has taken copious notes on all the concerns of my colleagues here, and we will work on them and get back to them. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Honorable Ales Wotoja. After that, Honorable Aziz, and that will end it.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, there is a road under construction in my constituency. That is the contract for the route from Yokutikpo, Mafiavedo, Oviaji to Vute. Frankly speaking, the way the contractor is working on the road, I don't think is the best. And I have evidence here to show you right now the kind of work he is doing on that stretch of road. And we'd like to find out if the ministry, I don't want you to act on whatever I tell you here. I would like to find out if the ministry will send some officials there to pay an unannounced visit to site. I'll come and show you the kind of work that is being done there with government money.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Aziz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Minister, you know, the Yendi Tamale Road is under construction. And the last time I visited a home, I had a discussion with my chief, that's the regent of Miang. And there were complaints with regards to the drainage, the gutters the contractor is doing when he gets to communities or towns. So I only appeal that the technical men should take a look at it and advise the contractor accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that we'll look at the concerns that Honorable Aziz has raised, and then we'll see what the issue, because there's a contractor there. It's being done under the World Bank, under the Transport Sector Improvement Project. So we'll see what the concerns are and address them immediately.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister.
Mr. Chairman, I think that
the issue raised by Honorable
very well
Deputy Ranking.
Yes.
Can you respond?
Yes,
to it?
please, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much. We understand the concerns of the honorable member, and we know that as politicians, as traditional rulers, a lot of these projects are lobbied by us and them. And I know that is the reason why he's he's so passionate about this. He said it on countless number of times, and my boss is keen to help and pursue people to ensure that these particular roads that he mentioned will be repackaged again and awarded to well-resourced contractors so that they will be executed. Yeah, thank you.
Are you sure you're not making a political statement?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'm a politician, but in this case, I'm very honest with the
So can you give a time frame when all these issues that have been raised here will be attended to?
Mr. Chairman, you know that is a mission impossible for me to give
Also,
you.
you are telling me here, right now here.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to tell you, Mr. Chairman, to know that a lot of issues have been raised here, and it will be impossible for me to recollect all of them and to give timelines. But what I would say is that we have taken notes of this, and in due course, Mr. Chairman, I would personally meet all the honorable members and update them on what we are going to do for them.
Well, we will. This meeting here, hearing here, is being recorded. Ghanaians are listening to you; they are watching you. We are also going to keep record of all that you have said. If you don't honor all that you have said, we'll play them back to you. Okay?
Very well, Mr. Chairman.
But before I discharge you finally, just a minute. Honorable Sampson wants something, to say something.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief Director, one of my communities, Manyoro, there are two steel bridges, one to Para and one back to Sorogo. A calculator crossed one and fell inside, broke the bridge. You can't cross. Now, just last 2 weeks, your people from Balga carried rocks and went and poured on the other one too and said there's danger. So now it means the other community is cut off. I beg you, try and follow it for me. Yes, part of Ghana. I'm talking of a community of 8 branches, a community Mayoro, where you have over 10,000 people living around the area. They can't go anywhere. Because your people are broke, they've not created any place for them to pass. So I beg you, this one I'm just appealing to you. This one not to the minister, but you, the chief director. Link with your people and help at least construct one bridge, just one of the bridges, so that they can cross and go out of their community. Otherwise, it will be terrible. Thank you very much.
So I think that the chief director has taken notes, and some action will be taken on that. On that note, you are finally discharged. We thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, the sitting of the committee is hereby adjourned to tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the forenoon.